There you are, still at the breakfast table. I feared you'd wandered off. Good, pet. Come now. I need. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I interrupting something? Am I interrupting something between you and my servant here? I mean, I see the smiles on your little faces. I'd hate to intrude on a private moment. Oh, I see. You were only thanking her for the lovely breakfast spread. How well mannered of you. And it is such a delicious looking array of foods, isn't it? All of these ripe fruits fresh from the orchard, golden breaded pastries not a moment out of the oven, creamy tarts and scones and rolls. But your gratitude quite misses the mark. No? After all, the girl merely set your table. A trained circus animal can do that. It was your emperor that sent for all these treats for his beloved pet. His chefs that prepared them. His coin that furnished them. Is there perhaps someone in the room more deserving of your thanks than some servant? You are very welcome. As I told you, there is no material expense I will spare to see the satisfaction of those closest to me. Unfortunately, we'll need to cut this splendid meal short. It's time for your bath. No, I have a number of illustrious guests who have traveled a long way awaiting an audience in the throne room. They've expressed a desire to conclude our discussions as swiftly as possible, lest that dreadful storm raging outside grow any worse and imperil their return journey. There is no time to spare. Put down that tart and follow me. Quickly. What did you say? You don't genuinely believe that I'm concerned whether or not you're still hungry, do you? You wouldn't be foolish enough to deceive yourself into thinking I'd place the whims of your fickle stomach above the responsibilities of the imperial court. Because that would be an awfully stupid delusion to fall under, even for a guileless creature like you. Now, get up. No, you may not take that tart with you. I won't have you throwing crumbs all over my freshly scrubbed carpets like some ill-trained dog scattering its filthy scraps around its master's home. What is that look on your face? Are you upset? Do you think I'm being cruel and unfair, keeping you from your morning meal? No, it's worse. That's defiance in your eyes, isn't it? Don't lie to your emperor. Oh, I see what's happening here. Those tasty delights I've placed upon your tongue, and those comfortable silks I've clothed you in, and the idle smile of my servant girl here have made you forget yourself again. I suspected as much. These last few weeks under my tender care, it's not just your cheeks that have grown a little plump and ripe, is it? Your pride has swollen as well. And I've already told you how dangerous that can be. Whatever are we going to do to temper that pride? I'm curious how long that little stubborn scowl would last if. Actually, no. I have a better idea. I'll tell you what. I've changed my mind. Let it never be said that Emperor Kairo is not a man of considerable generosity. Go ahead. Finish the tart. No. No. Don't apologize. I told you. I've changed my mind. Does my face look at all unsure or insincere? You need not worry about your bath. We can dispense with that for this morning. Finish your tart. Finish the whole plate of them, if you'd like. In fact, cram every morsel on this table down your little throat if it suits you. I can see plainly that you're simply starving, and I would loathe to stand between you and your so very richly deserved treats. Go on. Eat it. I said, eat it! Good. Chew it down thoroughly now. I wouldn't want you to choke. Oh, you'll have to excuse me. I have to proceed to the throne, but you may stay here and dine as long as you like. Gorge yourself to your heart's content. I will return to our chambers after the meeting. Until then, let me bid you farewell with a kiss on the forehead. No, don't shy away now. I can see you're still uneasy. You're not afraid of a little kiss, are you? There we are. Now, business awaits. Oh, and you, girl? Yes, I'm speaking to you, servant. Come, walk with me as I depart. Good girl. I have some special instructions for you. Leave my pet in peace to finish its meal. They're obviously very hungry, and they'll feast on just what they deserve today. Hello? Where are you, pet? You'll be pleased to learn that I've returned to you early. My meeting with those half-wit barons concluded mercifully ahead of schedule. I've been looking all over my chambers for... Oh no. Is that you out there, pet? What are you doing all alone on the balcony? And in this dreadful storm? Why, it's raining buckets out there. You're not even wearing a cloak. You're still dressed in your house clothes. You must be soaked to the skin. Here, let me open the door. Hurry inside, quickly. What happened? What do you mean? I know you can't help your chattering teeth, darling, but try not to stammer. I can hardly understand you to begin with over this howling rain. Yes, Of course, I know how my pet enjoys going outside on the balcony for a little fresh air most mornings. You're telling me that you stepped outside earlier? And then, what happened? Someone closed the balcony door and latched it by mistake? Oh no. Poor thing. You've been locked out here, in the midst of this horrid downpour, in these blistering storm winds. One of the servants must have seen the balcony door ajar and latched it, not realizing that you were outside. I ordered them to leave you alone so as to not interrupt your special meal, since I could see how hungry you were this morning. Doubtless they obeyed me and left our chambers after securing the door, so they could hardly hear you calling for help. You must have been trapped for at least an hour, perhaps longer. How positively awful. No wonder you're shaking and shivering like some poor defenseless rabbit caught in the eye of a blizzard. This rain must have chilled you to the bone. And oh, water is running down your scalp in rivulets. It's utterly ruined your beautiful hair. This is just terrible. I can bear to think of how you must have felt cowering all alone out here for so long. With those baleful winds and this unrelenting torrent of stinging raindrops beating down on your poor shoulders and soaking every inch of you. But don't fret. I'm here now. Your emperor is here to rescue his darling pet. Take my hand. That's it. I've got you. But wait. I'm afraid I can't allow you to step inside in this condition. Your clothes are so cold and wet and clammy. You'd think they'd been pilfered from a shipwreck. Oh, I can't let you drip dirty rainwater all over my polished wooden floors. And besides, you're liable to catch a deathly chill if you stay in those wet garments. And we wouldn't want that. Take them off. Yes, all of them. Your underclothes will have to go as well, I'm afraid. They're no doubt as wet as all the rest. But don't worry, your master hasn't forgotten how shy you are about undressing before him. I'll respect your modesty and close my eyes. When you're finished, take this towel here and dry off, and wrap it around your body to cover yourself. And there we are. So good. Quick as ever to follow instructions. Shh, shh. Don't fret. I'm not looking. Finished? I'm sorry. I know how you chafe at being like this before me. That little humiliated look in your downturned eyes is adorable. But I promise that this is only for your own good. Here, take my hand. Let me lead you into the drawing room. That's good. Good little pet. How fortunate that the fire is already stoked and roaring, ready to press the warmth back into your chilled muscles and sinews. But after what you've endured, you'll need more than just a distant flame to warm you. You require a more intimate warmth. Here, let me sit down on this armchair, and you may sit on my lap. I'll draw this soft, heavy satin blanket over both of us. Let its folds envelop you. Don't you already feel so much better? Dry and out of those awful drenched clothes, wrapped up snug and tight in this soft fabric, the lapping flames of the fire embracing you from without, while the warmth of my body cradles you from within. And of course you do. No need to speak, pet. Your teeth are still chattering from the cold, and it's difficult to understand you. But your little purrs of contentment tell me all I need to know. Oh, I just can't believe such a trifling mistake led us to this. How horrible, you poor thing. Let me bring my hand up to stroke your hair. You're quite fond of me doing that, aren't you? Wrap your arms around me now. Nestle in close. You're safe now, I promise. No more cold wavelets of rain. No more ear-splitting thunder and hideous lightning streaking across the sky. None of those frightening things can reach my good pet within this safe, soft blanket. Focus on your emperor's gentle hand petting your head. Focus on embracing his nice, warm body. Relax. Oh, is that a shy smile I spy creeping onto your trembling lips? It is such a relief to be home and back in my arms again, isn't it, pet? As we recline here, would you like something to drink? Something hot and fierce and fiery, perhaps, to warm you yet further? I know just the thing. Let me ring for a servant. Girl, fetch a cup of hot tea from my companion here, and remember to add a pinch of sugar and a spoonful of honey. I want this drink to be especially sweet on their tongue. They deserve it after the day they've had. Poor thing. Hurry along now. Good girl. My. What was that, pet? Did you think I wouldn't notice you hiding your head beneath the cover of your blanket as my servant approached us? Your emperor notices everything, as I often remind you. Not that you were being particularly subtle. Why ever did you do such a silly thing, I wonder? Are you embarrassed to be seen like this? In this weakened, exposed state you find yourself in, sitting here in my lap. Surely you know that she can see whether or not you try to hide. Or was that little retreat beneath the covers not a conscious choice of your part, but rather the work of base instinct? Perhaps, and just in the nature of rats to try and burrow down deep in the shadows when they feel vulnerable. That is, after all, how you arrived on these shores in the first place, if memory serves. Skulking in a box in the dark. Perhaps such soft-hearted behavior merely comes naturally to someone like you. Oh, what's that hurt look all of a sudden? What's that fresh wetness in your eyes? Oh, I see. I called you a rat again, didn't I? I know it so badly wounds your pride when I do that, but you simply must understand. It's very difficult to resist calling a creature what it so plainly is. It's so hard to pretend you're anything but a little rat, scared and confused and helpless. When a few teasing words can make you writhe and squirm nervously against my body like that. If only you could feel the desperation with which your little paws cling to me as shame wells inside you, you'd see the wisdom in my words. Shh, shh. No need to apologize. I'm hardly upset with you. It's folly to be upset with an animal for acting in accordance with its nature. And I know very well what sort of timid animal you are. Though, I will confess, it is a touch amusing to watch you now, behaving so demurely and being so delightfully submissive after your little tantrum at breakfast this morning. Oh, Pat, if only you could see how wide your eyes just grew. Fear looks so very adorable on you. You didn't think I'd forgotten your insolent behavior towards me this morning, did you? How you protested when I ordered you to your bath. How you looked at me with that laughable righteousness in your eyes, as though I was being so utterly unfair with you. Don't fret. I'm not vexed with you anymore. As I said, I'm merely amused. You were so confident this morning, no? Smiling and holding your head high, in good spirits, stuffing your mouth with tasty tarts. You looked every bit the pompous little princeling. You certainly had no problem speaking with my servant girl and looking at her in the eye then. And now look at you, cowering, clutching at my body with trembling, anxious hands under the blanket, frightened even to allow that same servant to see your face. I wonder what turned my pretty little darling back into this wretched rat. Shh, shh. No stammering now. Save your words. I know what happened. You dread the thought of her seeing you like this. I admit it. You've looked almost dignified these last few days, as all the hours I've lavished on preening and primping you have yielded their fruit, strutting around my chambers in your dashing doublet with those little bands of gold I gifted you glimmering on your fingers. Each day you've looked less a stowaway and more a sovereign's consort. How dismaying it was for me when I began to realize that pretty coat of paint I so painstakingly layered over your ugly underbelly was beginning to give you delusions of independence. And yet, though it required all those dozens of hours of tedious work expended to make you presentable, observe that it hardly took the slightest sliver of effort to wash it all down the drain. A few buckets of filthy rainwater to scour the gel from your hair and strip those beautiful clothes off of you, and my spell was broken. Leaving you here before me, as what you truly are. This small, wet, helpless thing hiding away from the world under its blankets, like a frightened animal clinging seamlessly to its master's chest, at once desperate for his attention and approval, and terrified of his wrath. Oh my, I wonder what that servant girl would think if I tore that blanket off and bared you to her gaze. I wonder what you'd do. Crawl down under the chair, perhaps, or beneath the floorboards. Oh, calm down. Spare your pleading, pet. It was only a joke. I'm not that cruel. Don't fret. I promise. You're safe under there. I won't take away your blanket or what remains of your dignity. It hardly matters either way. I know very well that she'll never look at you the same way again. That now that she's glimpsed the pathetic reality behind the elegant facade I cloaked you in, she can never truly respect you again. Tomorrow morning, no matter how glittering the gold on all your fingers, how well pressed the silk of your shirts, how trimmed and well styled your hair, she'll look at you and see only the pitiful thing huddled in my lap that she saw tonight. The thought of being humiliated in such a lasting way in another's eyes hurts you so much, doesn't it? I can see it in my own eyes, in your quivering lip. Are you about to cry? Oh, my apologies. I shouldn't have laughed at that. I actually feel quite sorry for you, having to learn your lesson like this. But you must know that you've brought this all upon yourself. I did warn you that teaching you your place would always be a pleasant affair. You may shed tears if you need to. I can see you're feeling very tender right now. And it's alright. Let me rub your back and soothe you. There. Doesn't that feel nice? I so enjoy the feeling of your bare skin under my soft palms. No, no, don't flinch. You aren't going anywhere. Just let me caress you. It's your pride that brought you down to this humiliating position here in my lap tonight. Did you know that? That same pernicious pride that keeps straying you from the proper path of a loyal pet. This is hardly the first time you've been impudent or defiant with me, isn't? Your pride gives you these high-minded ideas about dignity and self-regard. It deceives you into forgetting who and what you truly are. It makes you do silly, stupid things, like asking your emperor to delay his important business so that you might have time to stuff your greedy mouth with another tart at breakfast. Pride is not so very different from a flame, you know? Like the ones flickering at the hearth in the fireplace over there. A little flame can be a very useful and comforting thing. I hardly need to convince you of that, given your current position. But left unchecked, flames only devour. No matter how much they're fed, they hunger for more and more. So, from time to time, it's prudent to douse them with a measure of cold water. And a prideful ego is no different. Sometimes it grows beyond its bounds, and a healthy dose of cold water is in order. Oh, poor thing. I can see that fearful realization dawning in your eyes. Did you think it was mere chance that you were locked outside in the freezing rain today? I thought it quite a poetic punishment, truth be told. Since you were too arrogant to take your warm, comfortable, lavender scented bath with me, I thought I'd instruct my servant to arrange for you to be introduced to a decidedly less hospitable bath, courtesy of nature. And that bath cleaned up your stubborn demeanor quite nicely, didn't it? No, don't look so frightened, pet. I knew you'd only be trapped for an hour or so before I came to take you in out of the cold. I would never put you in any real danger. Your behavior simply demanded a hard lesson today, and I reluctantly had to oblige you. But don't be afraid. Don't shy away from me. Nuzzle back into my chest. You will stay here as long as I want you to. Rest easy. Your punishment is over, and you're forgiven for your behavior. I only hope that you won't soon forget what I taught you today. Ah, there you are, girl. What took you so long? Hand me the teacup. Oh, my companion. Yes, their little whimpers tug at one's heartstrings, I know, but I assure you they're quite all right under there. They're merely embarrassed to have you see them in such a compromising position, that's all. Good girl. You're dismissed. You may bring your head out from under there, pet. She's gone. Here, let me serve you your tea. There you are. Open your mouth and sip. Mmm, delicious, isn't it? Oh, you're very welcome, pet. In what a deliciously servile tone that you used to say, yes, Emperor, just now. Color me impressed. I almost thought you'd forgotten how to address me properly with all of your brashness in these last weeks. But now, I see that you just needed a little reminder. Perhaps you'll always need a little reminder of what you are every now and then. A few drops of proverbial rainwater drizzled down your back to keep you humble. That's perfectly all right. I'm quite willing to do what I must to properly train you. I care very deeply for you, pet. I hope you know that. You're my very favorite plaything. And even if you sometimes give me cause to be harsh with you, my affection for you is undiminished. In fact, it's that very affection that moves me to administer such lessons to protect you from your own worst impulses. I so dread to see my precious pet debase itself by slipping into disobedience and disarray. I only want what's best for you, You know that, don't you? Oh, thank you, pet. I knew you would come to understand the method in my treatment of you after all was said and done. Here, perhaps a gentle kiss will help remind you of the depth of my love for you. Mwah. Oh, you liked that, didn't you? Here, take another sip of the tea and look into my eyes. Oh, you always look so soft and helpless when you cry. Let me just wipe that stray tear from your cheek. Don't be afraid. I'll remind you, you're not being punished anymore, and I'm no longer at all angry with you. You're safe now, here in my arms. I know with certainty that you'll be very good for a long while after tonight. I confess, your little whines and whimpers have stirred my heart. I'm not without mercy. Shall we retire to bed early tonight so that my pet can rest and recover after the ordeal it put itself through today? I'll give you an especially gentle and loving bath tonight. The warm water will nurse your aches and pains. After that, we'll adjourn to our bed for your nightly lessons in affection. And I promise, my tender touch and careful hands will make you forget all about this ugly business. Don't worry, I'll permit you to wear your night clothes to bed. I won't keep you like this, tempting as it would be to do so. Oh, shh, shh. It's all right. No need to sputter. I understand you're a touch overwhelmed. You need time to recuperate. We can stay here like this as long as you desire. Just close your eyes and nestle in. Feel the beating of my heart so very close to your own. You are warm and safe and loved here in your Emperor's arms. You wandered away from me on your path for a brief moment. That's all. The important thing is that I found you before you strayed too far and reined you in. I brought you back to your rightful place. And not a moment too soon, I think. There is more than one storm lurking on the horizon, pet. I do not doubt that you have felt the change in the air. Loyalties will shift like quicksand beneath our feet. Once hushed whispers in the dark. Winding streets below us grow even louder. Momentous times await my empire. The hour is fast approaching when I will require the company and confidence of my faithful servant out in the world beyond the confines of this chamber. When master and pet must, of necessity, uncover parts of one another, so far kept hidden, and open ourselves to a more raw and complete intimacy between our minds and between our bodies. That is why I must be so firm and forceful with you in your training. When that hour arrives, your negligence must be unwavering. But do not be afraid, pet, because your emperor has no fear for you. He knows that though you stray, you will stay the course in the end. You're mine, aren't you? You belong to me. Do you not? Are you not my loyal pet and plaything, forever and always? Good little pet. Mm. Hello, everybody. It's Prince Kairo, and I just wanted to thank you all for listening to another one of my audios. This one is a lot longer than usual, and I'm hoping that it's well received. It is the fourth part in a series, and, well, honestly, I've been working very hard to make it as great as it can be, and I truly do hope that you enjoyed it. Special thank you goes to everyone over on Patreon, and especially that of my beloved pets. Jing Liu Oo, Ash3407, T Briscoe, Nikki Pele, Michelle, Ghost, and Toka. Thank you all so much for all of your support. It truly does mean the world to me. If you're interested in following me on literally any of my socials, just check out my link tree in the pinned comment down below. It'll have everything that you need. Thank you all so much for listening. I have been Prince Kairo, and remember that your prince loves you all.